And hello, and welcome to today's recording, which is about the Steinberg FD control surface, which is an unusual control surface that I think came out in 2014 and is still available second-hand, often on eBay, sometimes as part of a six-pack with 5 other Steinberg controllers. I have to guess that it wasn't successful because it's no longer sold. And I haven't seen much about it, but having said that, it works extremely well, and I'll demonstrate this in the video. And through the wonders of scripting, Python scripting, it now works pretty well with FL Studio, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I'll start perhaps by, we'll just talk a little bit about my blog here, which you've got a little bit more detail if you want on most of the videos that I post. In this case, the FD is here, but I'll leave that up to you. It's gadgeteer.home.blog if you want to take a look. Let's get rid of that. I think I'll start by showing you the setup. So we go into MIDI settings, and you can see I've got the FD1 set up on port 3, doesn't matter what port it is. And I'm using a script which I've called, strangely enough, Steinberg FD, or MCUE Steinberg FD. MCUE is my sort of categorization of the scripts I do that are Mackie compatible. Now, I don't think this was targeted at Mackie. I might be wrong. The one issue that I found immediately when I started looking at it is the banking by default would take you up 8 tracks at a time, and even if you've got 2, that still doesn't work because you effectively miss out 4 tracks at a time as it banks up 8 at a time. So I spent a little bit of time looking at the script to see if I could resolve this. It probably is resolvable, but in the time I had available I couldn't suss it out. So what I've done instead is we've got access to every track just by scrolling up and down. And the banking tracks, which are the 2 on the right, I've set to control the next and previous markers, which is something that I personally find quite useful when I'm mixing and also when I'm composing, just to get to a particular part in the song quite quickly. So if you're not using markers, I'd certainly in FL Studio, I'd certainly recommend them. Very useful things. I'll let you investigate that on your own, but I will demonstrate this probably about now. Going back to ours with the MIDI, all you have to do is make sure your port on the output and input is the same. You've selected the correct script, and I've got a shed load here, so I've picked out Steinberg FD. Refresh your device list and you should be good to go. Let's close that down. Okay, so let's go straight in. I'll show you what we have here is basic control over all the tracks that we want. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Reasonably responsive. We can also pick any track we want. We can go up as high as we like. Don't know how many tracks there are in this song. And we'll come back just so we know where we are. We can also go down to the master and control the master level, and whichever track you've got selected there will be your first track there, and then you move on with the other tracks, as you can see here. You've got fine control as well, so if I press the shift you'll see I can just move it just a little bit, which is quite useful. It's not showing that particularly well there. Let's try it on that one. You've got much tighter control. Looks like it's jumping around there, but for me certainly, maybe it's where I'm starting it from, generally tends to work quite well. It's not working quite well there, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. We've also got, as I mentioned, the markers. We can skip through and find a particular state. It'll cycle through all the markers that are set up. So on this demo track they've set up a start, in, loop, strings, question mark, then you obviously don't know what that is, and then you're back to the start again. But if you set up a lot of markers, this is actually quite a good way of navigating around your song. The only other thing I can show you is, let's do it on track 1, is if you hold the shift down, tap, then you can mute, and if you tap lower down, I've found, oh, that's not working either now, is it? You can also oh, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. As you can also just individually solo a track, so you're basically tapping towards the top to mute the particular track, and further down if you want to solo the track. So yeah, I think I'd sussed that out before. I don't know why I wasn't doing it then. You can see that works across whatever tracks you have selected. And let's bring them all back. And I think that's everything I wanted to show you. Feel free to ask any questions below. I have seen these quite cheaply. I don't know what the original price was back in 2014. Probably, I would guess, around about 150 quid or something like that. Well, I honestly don't know. Could have been more than that. Could have been 200 or so. I don't know. If you do know, drop a line or drop a comment. As I say, I've seen them on eBay for different prices, sometimes available as a 6-pack if you really want to get stuck in. To be honest, if you're using FL Studio, I don't think I'd risk the 6-pack, because I've only looked at the FD, the fader controller, and there's only a script for the fader controller at the moment. But I'll leave that up to you. I got this individually, and I got quite a good deal on it, which is why I thought I'd have a look at it. I do like it, and if I was working with just a laptop, this would be a handy thing to have next to it, I think, and I'd be tempted to keep it. I probably will keep it for a little while and see whether I get much use out of it myself. And then, as with all the other control surfaces that I've reviewed, I'll probably pass them on to someone to get full use out of them, probably on eBay or Reverb or something like that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you. Thanks very much for your time, and have a good day. Feel free to like this. Feel free to like my YouTube or subscribe to it if you want to see more. Thanks very much.